Well, from wherever you're watching us in Lokichogio to Vanga, Namanga to Mandera, in Kenya and around the world, this is KBC Prime Edition. Good evening. My name is Mboya.
My name is Museo. Welcome to Prime Edition. It's Tuesday, the 15th of February, 2022, and the campaigns are gaining momentum ahead of the general election. KBC, we have the latest news as they happened here in the country and around the world.
All that coming up, but first, our top stories.
The respondent is subject to the Electoral Code of Conduct and is under duty to abide with the same.
On the hot seat, electoral body avers. Sabina Chage has case to answer.
Play your role diligently. CJ Mavakome asks IBC to conduct credible polls.
Hats off! Camry unveils locally manufactured COVID and malaria testing kits.
And a very warm welcome to the broadcast. Lensa Odingo is our sign language interpreter tonight. You can be part of this broadcast by interacting with us. We are live on all our social media platforms, on Twitter at KBC Channel 1 News, at Purity_Museo, and at Mboya24. The hashtag to use tonight is Prime Edition.
And this live broadcast starts right now. Murang'a Women Representative Sabina Chege has a case to answer before the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission over claims of rigging in 2017.
IEBC's Code of Conduct Committee, led by the Commission's chairperson Wafula Chebukati, dismissed preliminary objectives by the legislators' team of lawyers led by Siaya Senator James Orengo.
Sabina had sought the Commission to withdraw from the matter, saying it would open a can of worms in the contested 2017 poll, as Kamche Meza reports.
First attempt by Murang'a Women Representative Sabina Chege to absolve herself from the 2017 election rigging claims before the IEBC Tuesday morning did not succeed.
Your statement casts aspersions on the integrity of the general elections 2017, specifically that the voting system developed by the Commission is penetratable.
As you can see from the charge, it is a redacted version. You are not telling us clearly what she's accused of saying.
It would be fair to provide either the name of the complainant and the complaint or the report to us before we can respond to the accusations.
A move by her legal team banking on Clause 6A of the Electoral Conduct, claiming that the lawmaker could not be subjected to the Electoral Code of Conduct, was dismissed by the Commission.
Are we in an electoral period? Have we kicked off 2022 electoral period? Has this code been subscribed to?
The notice for the 2022 general election was published on the 20th of January 2022. The respondent is subject to the Electoral Code of Conduct and is under duty to abide with the same.
The issue of the contested 2017 general election results also featuring before the committee, with Sabina's legal team saying the jurisdiction of stolen elections lay with the judiciary and that the legislator cannot be called for questioning on the same.
The honorable thing to do for this committee is to withdraw from presiding over this proceeding.
We make the following orders. 1, that the preliminary objection raised by counsel for the respondent on 15th February 2022 is hereby dismissed, and 2, this matter shall proceed to full hearing.
Sabina is alleged to have made the utterances during a public rally at Isibuye in Vihiga County, which the Commission says taints the image of the electoral system.
We are going to mount a challenge, and a big one.
For us, Mount Kenya region, just know that your daughter is being targeted and there could be some forces behind it.
As the legal team of Sabina Chege now retreats for what seems like a battle between Azimio and IEBC, politicians will now have to tread with care as campaigns intensify. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition at the Anniversary Towers, Nairobi.
Meanwhile, Chief Justice Martha Koome has challenged the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC to hold free, fair, transparent and credible elections.
The Chief Justice affirmed that the judiciary is prepared to diligently and expeditiously deal with electoral disputes that may arise in the run-up and after the August election to safeguard the country's democratic gains.
She was speaking at a press club meeting held by the Kenya Editors Guild, as Ben Chumba reports.
With less than 6 months to the August 9 polls, Chief Justice Martha Koome has challenged the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission chairperson Wafula Chebukati to remain nonpartisan and ensure the August polls are free, fair, transparent and credible.
Today when I send M-Pesa, even to the pastoralist in the farthest end, they receive the money, isn't it? And if they don't receive, I've sent to the wrong one, the money is reversed to me. Why wouldn't my vote go the way the M-Pesa goes? And they go to the right place, and they be received by the right person. So this is the question I'm asking myself as the Chief Justice, and I think it resonates with all of us. What is so difficult in counting this vote and transmitting it?
Speaking in Nairobi during a consultative meeting with the Kenya Editors Guild, Koome asked IEBC commissioners to uphold the highest level of integrity.
So for the rules, this is where violence starts, because, you know, they start now complaining that my election has been stolen. So like everybody has said, let us build very strong institutions that can guard our democracy.
The judiciary reiterated its commitment to diligently and expeditiously deal with the electoral disputes in the run-up and after the August general election to safeguard country's democratic gains.
When it comes to these judgments, sisi atujui watu, we just know the law. It is one thing to be a professional. It is another to be a good professional. We have all manner of temptations in these jobs. I think it actually falls on me to say that if you can't do it right here, just go and look for an alternative.
At an earlier meeting held between Kenya Editors Guild and key stakeholders in the electoral process, the media were asked to uphold patriotism and professionalism in fulfilling its role in forthcoming elections.
Whether you like the Chief Justice or not, you must report fairly about the Chief Justice. Whether you don't like Philomena Mbetewa Mwilu, you must report fairly about her. So let us have that respect, that camaraderie, that friendship, that togetherness.
As a media sector, not to air what brings disrepute to the institutions of governance, not to air things that will bring down the fabric of Kenyanness, not to air inflammatory remarks from very respected people in this country.
Kenyan media is one of the best in Africa, and people want to learn from us. So if people want to learn from us how we participate in the murder of democracy, I think is a big challenge to us. So how can we do it differently and reinvent ourselves and tell the whole world that Kenyan media can do better?
Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Take you to The Hague. In the Netherlands, lawyer Paul Gichuru has pleaded not guilty to all the charges leveled against him at the International Criminal Court.
Gichuru is accused of 8 crimes ranging from witness tampering to corruption in the now cold cases against Deputy President William Ruto and former radio journalist Joshua Sang.
Here is that report.
Lawyer Paul Gichuru sat and listened as the prosecution presented its case before Judge Miata Maria Samba in courtroom 3. Gichuru denied committing any of the 8 charges leveled against him.
Do you make an admission of guilt with respect to any of the charges? Not at all. Madam President, for the record, I plead not guilty. Not guilty.
Respect of all the charges?
Yes.
On the 15th of July 2021, the International Criminal Court Pre-Trial Chamber A confirmed the charges of offences against the administration of justice brought by the prosecutor against Paul Gichuru and committed him to trial.
He intends to go forward with the trial because he maintains his innocence.
The prosecutor believes it has evidence to prove that Gichuru committed the said offences in the furtherance of a common plan implemented by a group of persons, including him, with the ultimate goal of undermining the prosecution's case in the Ruto-Sang case.
Their evidence proves on its own the accused's criminal responsibility in this case. However, witness evidence will not be the only evidence you will hear, Your Honor. You will see bank statements showing large deposits of money on witnesses' bank accounts right after having been bribed.
That the accused managed and coordinated a scheme to identify, locate, and corruptly influence actual and potential prosecution witnesses. This was done through a combination of bribery and intimidation.
The first witness, identified as P800, began testifying on Tuesday.
The prosecution notes that 2 further suspects for whom arrest warrants have been issued for the same offences remain at large, and we call upon the Kenyan authorities to take all necessary steps to surrender these 2 suspects to the court without further delay.
On the 2nd of November 2020, Paul Gichuru surrendered himself to the authorities of Netherlands and was handed over to ICC custody on the 3rd of November 2020. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
And on to politics, Deputy President Dr. William Ruto has taken issue with the opposition that it abdicated its watchdog role after the handshake. The DP who led the Kenya Kwanza team in Kajiado said the opposition has betrayed Kenyans. Safina Cheng has that report.
The Kenya Kwanza Alliance has launched a scathing attack at the opposition, accusing it of betraying Kenyans.
If you have failed in the opposition, you can never have a chance to form any government, my friends. Nyinyi nyamazeni, tuwafundishe vile serikali inaendeshwa. Tumekubaliana watu wa Kajiado.
Speaking in Kajiado County, the DP and his allies say they will work to turn around the economy and lift the standards of Kenyans.
Tunasema mwaka huu tunaweka pesa ya kutosha katika program yenye italeta ajira kwa vijana ya agro-processing, value addition, manufacturing. Hapa Kajiado tuweke pesa ya kutosha kwa ufugaji. Ng'ombe tusiwe tunapoteza kila mwaka kwa sababu hakuna nyasi.
Hatutaki kukaa huko juu kung'ang'ania madaraka na mwananchi wa kawaida anaumia. Ndio tumesema whatever we do, lazima tuanzie chini, tufikie mwananchi wa kawaida ili yeye pia maisha yake ipanuke.
Mimi Peristobiko niko na William Samoei Ruto asubuhi mpaka kukuche mpaka tupige kura.
Na tushaamua kitambo kura ya rais ni nani? Inua mkono ya Ruto nione.
The Kenya Kwanza Alliance is expected to take its campaign to Murang'a County on Wednesday. For Prime Edition, I'm Safin Aching Oma.
Well, staying with politics, Democratic Party presidential aspirant Justin Muturi has lashed out at those belittling the party, equating it to a village entity, terming them misinformed. Muturi said that the party is as strong and has its structures firmly established in the whole country.
The National Assembly Speaker, who is also the Democratic Party presidential aspirant, was in Kerugoya, Kirinyaga County to receive blessing ceremony from the Kiama elders on his political aspirations. Muturi taking issue with those degrading Democratic Party to a village political outfit as naysayers.
It's the same party
that gave this country the president in 2007 through the PNU arrangement. And therefore I think it is derogatory, it's in bad faith for anybody to refer to the Democratic Party as a village party. There must be people who have totally forgotten their history and geography.
He said the party will claim its political space during the August polls.
It's justified to have a political party that the members of this, the people or the residents of this region subscribe to, so that going forward we can always have discussions with those that have the interests of this region.
Elsewhere, delegates drawn from the ODM branch in Kiambu County say they are being sidelined over the planned National Delegates Conference slated for next week. The group now says the move was aimed at blocking Jimmy Wanjigi, who has shown interest to contest the presidency through the party.
There is no anyone who is a lesser candidate. Every candidate deserves to be treated as an equal.
National delegate ya tarehe 25 ihairishwe. Kuitwa wale delegate. Sio delegate wale waliandikwa kwenye ile gazeti ilikuwa imewekwa ama the notice.
Meanwhile, Rabai, Member of Parliament William Kamoti claims the PAA party associated with Kilifi Governor Amazon Kingi was not a threat to ODM. Kamoti said the region is solidly behind ODM and nothing will change.
Watu tu wanaongea kwamba kuna chama cha PAA ambacho wanasema nani, lakini wacha nikwambie Kilifi County ni ngome ya ODM. Vyama vingine vitakuja kwa sababu ni demokrasia. Hao wanaojiita hivyo unavyosema watakuja, lakini nataka uyaangalie wakati kura itapigwa, chama ambacho kitaibuka kama chama kilicho mbele ndani ya Kilifi County na Rabai ni chama cha ODM. Haya mambo mengine hata ukisema wave, sijui hiyo wave umeitoa wapi, lakini mimi sioni kukiwa na wave.
Catholic Diocese of Kericho County has, in the meantime, banned politics in all its churches across the region. Bishop of Kericho Diocese Alfred Rotich said politicians should only visit the place of worship for prayers.
So let us also respect the rule of the law. The churches are respectable places. It's a sanctuary for all of us. Politicians, they too need to pray, but we are asking them to be humble.
Finally, Siaya County security team is accusing some politicians of importing tear gas from neighboring country to disrupt opponents' campaign. Siaya County Commissioner Mohamed Bare said the police was on the trail of supporters of some politicians suspected to be behind the incidents that are aimed at instilling fear on the public.
Ours is to ensure that there is peace, law and order in this county during, before and after this electionary period. So let us all take note. Whether you're a supporter of somebody, a candidate, or a party official, or a candidate yourself, let us live by the law.
And leaders allied to the Azimio la Umoja led by COTU Secretary General Francis Atwoli and Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya have accused ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula for betraying the Luhya unity. The leaders who were in Quisero claimed that the Kenya Kwanza Alliance has nothing new to offer the country as it's full of corrupt people. Take a look.
Na wacha niwashukuru wananchi wa Quisero. Wakati mliwaambia hapa ni Azimio la Umoja, Mheshimiwa Deputy President akirudi Quisero aje auze sera. Kuja hapa tuuzie sera, hapana kuja hapa kutusi Mheshimiwa Atwoli.
Sasa tulikuwa tunangoja watuambie ni nini walipewa kule. wamezunguka Vihiga, wamezunguka Busia, wamezunguka Kakamega, Bungoma, Trans Nzoia. Hakuna kitu ambayo walisema wamepatia hao wawili kwa hiyo muungano yao.
Tumesema tutalock Western na team leader wetu wa Western Wycliffe Ambesa Oparanya na Atwoli.
Wajue sisi tumesimama kitete kwa Azimio. Wale wavumi waendelee na uvumi yao.
Kusero Msalaba. That's the story that brings us to our first break right here on KBC Prime.
Keep tweeting at KBC Channel 1 News at Purity_Museo and at Mboya24. The hashtag is Prime Edition. We are back shortly. Stay with us.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Nabonga na watoi kujua mambo za online, pia na create time wafanye vitu offline. Tungeni gadgets na sites wana use, siwache strangers wapate chance kuabuse.
Nimeshindaje peso kompe sija participate. Unadai info yangu na iko private. Say identity yangu haupati utumi. Vitu zangu ni zangu na bado nitazishikilia.
Una post story ati ni real news. Mimi sikuamini mpaka nione social news. Una text all to me to refuse. Staki jokes kama nitakureport for real.
Si tucheza tuko smart so wezi tucheza.
Wazazi, watoi na maithu wetu. Don't be fooled. Get cyber smart and enjoy safe entertainment and education online.
The Communications Authority of Kenya. Mawasiliano kwetu, nguvu kwako.
Ili kupata mapenzi ni jina tu, kama sikiza tune kwenye simu yako, dial *811*815#.
Mapenzi ni jina tu, lakini mtu anaweza kulipa maana. Inaweza kuwa mpenzi wako, jamaa, rafiki, mfanyikazi mwenzako, jirani. Unaweza kupata mapenzi kutoka kwa mtu yoyote. Chagua kueneza upendo na muhimu, jipe zaidi.
Kupata mapenzi ni jina tu, dial *811*815#. *811*815#.
Welcome back. The country recorded 20 new COVID-19 positive cases Tuesday from 5,545 samples screened over the last 24 hours. The positivity rate has now dropped to 0.4%, with the total confirmed cases in Kenya rising to 322,517. No death was reported today, with reported deaths standing at 5,632. More than 15.6 million vaccines have been administered across the country, with 7.5 million people being partially vaccinated, while 7.1 million others are fully vaccinated. According to data from Johns Hopkins University, over 413.7 million COVID cases have been confirmed since the first case was reported, with the number of fatalities standing at above 5.8 million. Now, onto a progressive item here. Kenya will soon stop importing COVID-19 PCR kits and malaria rapid test kits after Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, Tuesday launched the first ever locally manufactured kits for pathogen detection for the two deadly diseases. Scientists have termed the news a milestone and a medical breakthrough, with the two products approved for use by Pharmacy and Poisons Board. And that will go a long way in reducing the cost of treatment in the country. Here is that report.
The official launch of the COVID-19 PCR kits KEMCOV and the malaria rapid test kits Plasmo Check by the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Rashid Aman, at Safari Park, Nairobi, marked the beginning of a journey that scientists believe was long overdue.
Thank you very much for the support that we have continued to receive from the Ministry of Health, and even for the challenge that has been thrown at us at KEMRI to be able to come in and face the challenges in terms of developing products that answer to the challenges in public health.
The approval bringing hope that Kenya could at last stop importing the overpriced medical products.
I want to take this opportunity to commend KEMRI for having played a pivotal role in supporting the government's efforts right from the first case of COVID-19 that was reported in March of 2020.
The COVID-19 test will, for instance, cost 1,500 Kenya shillings only, as compared to the usual 2,000 Kenya shillings and at least 5,000 Kenya shillings in public and private facilities, respectively.
For these two particular products which we have launched today, yes, it is a milestone in the sense that these are the first products of their type made locally. The products have been around in the market. We've been doing all this COVID testing. Most of these products were imported from outside, from countries, many countries, including China, India, Korea, and many other places.
Dr. Rashid Aman promising government support to the research institute, but at the same time challenging the researchers to seek solutions to other medical problems, saying the demand for quality services from public utilities continue to increase.
Still a great deal of room for this product, and of course I'm sure that KEMRI will be working on keeping up with the evolution of the pandemic itself and the virus in terms of upgrading and developing better and finer products as we move on.
The products unveiling coincided with the tour of the KEMRI Annual Scientific and Health Conference, which ends on Friday. And there's a very sad report here. The first Kenyan to go public about his HIV status 30 years ago, Joe Muruki, is dead. National Empowerment Network of People Living with HIV and AIDS in Kenya, NEFAC, says Muruki had been battling cancer for 2 years. Following his diagnosis, Muruki bravely battled HIV and partnered with various organizations to raise awareness and the need to fight stigma and misconception about the virus. He said he also championed for the need for Kenyans to endorse a healthy diet and positive living. May his soul rest in eternal peace. A showdown is looming in the National Assembly over the proposed Elections Amendment Bill. MPs allied to the Deputy President have raised concerns over the constitutionality of the bill and the effectiveness of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to lead the amendment process.
Barely 2 months since chaos marred the National Assembly due to the contentious political parties' amendment bill, a similar drama is looming over the Elections Amendment Bill. MPs allied to Deputy President say they are prepared to shoot down the bill.
A special committee is the way to go to allow for proper consultation, extensive public participation, Mr. Speaker.
This registration must be viewed like any other registration. The fact that elections are about to ensue does not make it a special bill.
It's a very straightforward bill. It's the least controversial, I would expect. But there are members who have sworn that anything that they don't like must fail. But they have also realized they don't have numbers.
We may witness, Mr. Speaker, a failed committee of the whole House, and all members who have issues with the bill may decide to attend the jailer committee and bring more chaos.
Garissa Township MP Aden Duale had sought to have the House constitute a special committee to consider the bill instead of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee.
We are seeing the provisions in these amendments that are limiting this freedom and right of Kenyans, and especially for people like voters in Nairobi, Mr. Speaker.
The concept of registration of candidates with IBC instead of nomination is strange and unknown to the Constitution of Kenya. It is a complete departure from the Constitution.
I will be able to address the issues raised. I think they are not complex. They are fairly straightforward matters which we can address. For the time being, the bill remains committed to the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, but I will be addressing the issues that he has raised.
Meanwhile, the National Assembly leadership is set to gauge the Senate leadership over delay by each house to consider bills originated from either houses. Speaker Justin Muturi acknowledged he had written to the Senate over the matter in vain. Gichuru Washira, Prime Edition.
Look at the scales of justice now. An appeal hearing challenging a 67-year jail term against Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluhe and his co-accused Grace Wakungu over corruption charges has kicked off in the High Court. The two who appeared before Justice Esther Maina argue that the trial court made a conclusion in the absence of evidence.
In mid-June 2020, Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke and his co-accused Grace Wakungu were sentenced to 67 years in jail or pay a fine of 707 million shillings over 314 million shillings scandal. Later, the court granted Waluke 10 million shillings cash bail, while Wakungu was required to deposit 20 million shillings to be freed. Both were also ordered to deposit their passports in court to ensure they do not leave the country.
What was alleged to be the role of each of these accused persons.
An appeal hearing against the sentencing kicked off in the High Court before Justice Esther Maina. Through their lawyers led by Elisha Ongoya, they argued the trial court was unfair and made an error by ignoring pertinent issues during the sentencing. Embattled Migori Speaker Boaz Okoth has received stay orders after he was impeached by the Assembly. Okoth received staying orders that quashed the February 8 decision by the respondents to impeach him until the motion is heard and determined. The court, through Justice Stephen Radido, said they will issue a judgment on the 11th of May. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
In other news, police in Cherangani, Trans Nzoia County are investigating the death of a 27-year-old security guard attached to the Cherangani Dairy Group. The guard, who was reporting for night duty, discovered the lifeless body hanging from the roof of a toilet. More of this in the County News Roundup.
According to Area Sub-County Police Commander Okumudulo, the deceased Dismas Kimutai Chiriot was killed by unknown people under unclear circumstances.
The factory security guard was discovered in the female's toilet, having been murdered.
Management at the Cherangani Dairy Group, where the late Cheriot worked, condemned the attack and called for speedy investigations.
Ameshikwa juzi alafu tena mwingine amewawa. Hiyo kitu imetuumiza sana. Hatuna usalama kweli.
Elsewhere, fierce fire this afternoon consumed goods in Kisii Town Central Business District, whose value could not be ascertained immediately. No casualties were reported during the incident.
Wamekuja kama moto imeshachoma kila kitu, imemaliza kila kitu. Tumengojea karibu 2 hours, hatujaona gari. We are so surprised sana mimi na Kisii County, hakuna hata gari ya maji.
900 households in Siaya County will participate in this year's Kenya Demographic and Health Survey. Speaking during the launch of the exercise in his office today, Area County Commissioner Mohammed Baria said that the households have even been marked into 36 enumeration areas consisting of 25 households.
The total number of people you are serving, you are better placed to plan and effect the service you want to give effectively. When you don't know, then you are likely to have shortages you didn't expect.
National Transport Safety Authority NTSA has embarked on road safety lessons to local primary schools in efforts to promote safety to learners.
The safety agency moved to introduce road safety to learners at Kimorori Primary School following the outcry from the community over the increased careless driving along the stretch between Makuyu and Kenol in Muranga.
You remember last year we lost 4,370. So this is an alarming number.
750, approximately half of the school, cross the road every day. This is a very busy highway and poses a lot of risks to the children and the wider community.
This is a section of spiritual leaders from Thika in Kiambu County have urged political leaders to exercise restraint and embrace peaceful coexistence as the August 9 polls draws closer.
So if we start the fire of politics right now, we are going to burn our country Kenya, and we only have one Kenya. We don't have a spare Kenya.
Hakuna haja kuenda kuongea mabaya ya mwingine, ongea mazuri yako. Hakuna haja kuenda kutusi mwingine. Ongea uzuri wako na ile kazi ambao utafanyia watu.
In this week's edition of County Factfile, we take a look at Kisumu County, code 042.
Kisumu County, County 42, is located in the former Nyanza province. It lies on the shores of Lake Victoria, Africa's largest lake by area. Its headquarters are in Kisumu City, otherwise referred to as Kisumu Pacho. The city is the third largest in Kenya after Nairobi and Mombasa. The county covers total land area of 2,009.5 kilometers squared and another 567 kilometers squared covered by water. Kisumu has a population of 1,155,574 according to the 2019 Kenya Population and Housing Census. The county is bordered by Homa Bay County to the south, Nandi County to the northeast, Kericho County to the east, Vihiga County to the northwest, and Siaya County to the west. Kisumu County has 539,210 voters and 1,027 polling stations, according to IEBC 2017 list of registered voters. Kisumu has 7 sub-counties. They include Kisumu West, Kisumu Central, Kisumu East, Seme, Muhoroni, Nyando, and Nyakach. The county consists of 7 constituencies, namely Kisumu West, Kisumu Central, Kisumu East, Seme, Muhoroni, Nyando, and Nyakach. Fishing is the main economic activity. Other agricultural produce include sugarcane, rice, maize, sweet potatoes, and poultry farming. The Kisumu International Airport now has the potential to deliver international tourists directly into the county. Jack Ranguma was Kisumu's first governor, with Professor Nyang' Nyong'o taking over after the 2017 general elections.
From code 042, back to code 047.
We now take our second commercial break at KBC Channel 1 News. The hashtag is Prime Edition. Keep tweeting. I'll be going through your feedback before the tail end of this broadcast. Betty Kiptum is on standby. She'll be coming back with the day's business news. Stay with us.
Linda familia na marafiki dhidi ya magonjwa.
The UHC coverage journey is on. NHIF is working under the guidance of the Ministry of Health in the UHC Step Up, which presents an opportunity to secure Kenyans access to quality health services without suffering financial hardship. So take the bold step today and safeguard your families by enrolling to NHIF to ensure health for all.
Kwa majina mimi naitwa Aquila sana yele mako. Inaishi Namanga. Wakati wa games tukikaa tu hapo na wanafunzi wenzangu tukicheza, nikaanza kusikia vizuri. Nikamweleza mama. Sasa mama akaniambia mbona ukusemanga? Nikamwambia niliogopa. Nikaenda Namanga hospital nikapima, akaona ugonjwa niko nayo. Sasa akasema heri upelekwe Kajiado. Madaktari akakuja kunitibu. akasema Manda akasema akaniambia utaenda kwa surgery. Walisema iko na growth. Nilienda kushughulikia hadi akaona akaenda kutafuta NHF mama tu anakuanga nayo, lakini ugonjwa mwenye nilitibiwa hiyo kadi ilinisaidia sana. Hiyo kama tungekuwa nayo sijui tungetoka hapo lini. Ningependa kuambia serikali waendelee kutuletea hiyo kadi ya NHF kwa maana inatusaidia sana. Kila mtu ajitahidi na jikaze kisabuni ili waweze kudhibitisha na wao wapate hiyo NHF. Ndio waweze na mtu akigonjeka juu siku yako kugonjeka na wao upate hiyo kadi, ndio ukipelekwa hospital uweze kutibiwa.
Linda familia na marafiki dhidi ya magonjwa.
Thank you very much for keeping it Prime Edition. My name is Betty Kiptum. Let's do the business news. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has directed Kenyan government officials to be at the forefront in facilitating trade to give the country a comparative advantage as an investment destination of choice. President Kenyatta, who invited Gulf investors to set up shop in Kenya, said the country needed to adapt to what investors wanted and remove the bureaucratic red tape that undermined trade.
Speaking at the opening of the Kenya Gulf Cooperation Council States Business Forum in Dubai on the first day of his working visit to the United Arab Emirates, President Uhuru Kenyatta said that Kenya seeks to strengthen its trade with the UAE, noting that a wide range of goods and services that UAE imports from other parts of the world could be produced and supplied by Kenya. President Kenyatta cited services such as hospitality and tourism, banking and financial services, ICT and data processing, as well as goods such as gold, cut flowers, fish, pharmaceuticals, tobacco, textiles and apparel, vegetables and fruits.
Trade in these goods and services presents huge opportunities, which I urge all to seize. These are opportunities, for example, to establish joint ventures, to do value addition of these products at source. And there are opportunities, too, to develop niche markets where Kenya can earmark land to produce some of these goods specifically for the UAE market.
President Kenyatta said enhancing trade between Kenya and the Gulf countries would help to address the urgent needs for jobs and economic opportunities for young people.
The strengthening of trade between our two countries will also go a long way in helping to address the urgent need for job and economic opportunities amongst our people, especially our young people. This requires that we develop trade instruments that are responsive to the needs of young people, and I urge all business leaders to develop a special trading framework that will indeed give special preference to youth and small and medium enterprises.
He expressed the need to develop a long-term solution to the many tariff and non-tariff barriers that curtail trade between Kenya and the Gulf region.
I do propose again that we consider initiating discussions on a free trade agreement with the Gulf Cooperation Council under the framework of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
On sports tourism, President Kenyatta said that Kenya is ready to avail its training grounds and coaches to nationals from the GCC states. Reporting for Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
Staying in the UAE, Kenyan manufacturers should step up value addition to products to make locally made goods competitive and enhance their uptake in the Gulf Cooperation Council. This emerged during the high-level business forum between Kenya and Gulf Cooperation Council member countries on the sidelines of the Expo 2020 Dubai. Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Maina says Kenya is working on modalities that will address non-tariff barriers to catalyze trade and ease of access for goods produced by Kenyan youth and small and medium enterprises. Here is Ronald Owile with the details from Dubai.
With the 6 countries under the Gulf Cooperation Council, which include UAE, Oman, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Kuwait, is currently in favor of the latter, as per figures given by the Ministry of Trade. Last year, Kenya imported goods worth 45 billion shillings, while imports from GCC countries topped 170 billion shillings. This imbalance is attributed to low volume of value-added exports to the Gulf, and which are mostly agriculture-based.
A lot of what we export as a country is resource-based products. If we continue to expand that into manufactured goods, value-added goods, you'll see that number beginning to tip.
During the meeting between Kenyan investors and GCC investors at the sideline of the Expo 2020 Dubai, Trade Cabinet Secretary Betty Maina said the country is working on modalities that will ensure non-tariff barriers that have curtailed trade between the two regions are resolved.
We have a lot of flowers and vegetables that come here, but they are transshipped through Europe because of challenges of communication and connectivity, and that's one of the things we are addressing.
Among products Kenya is targeting to boost exports include meat and livestock, vegetables, flowers and tea. Nonetheless, Kenya is still committed to ensure producers of commodities such as tea add value to their products, according to Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya, given that 90% of tea is exported in bulk.
Our tea is sold bulk and is utilized by other people to blend and create their own brands. So the future and the big future for us really is value addition.
However, the government has been urged to address bottlenecks that have hindered trade between the two regions, as well as ensure there are incentives for investors.
We're very happy today that they have announced the 10-year visa, which is the golden visa. And I believe any person within the private sector, once you apply, you'll be able to get that visa.
If Kenyan government and the policymakers, for that matter, could just replicate what we've seen here in Dubai back at home, then we will see drones and doves of businesses opening up back at home.
For Kenyan manufacturers wishing to access the GCC market of 54 million people, the challenge now lies in ensuring the products are value-added to guarantee access. Reporting for KBC Channel 1 from Dubai, United Arab Emirates, my name is Ronald Owili.
Thank you, Ronnie. They're coming to us from Dubai now. Back home, trade around Lake Victoria is gaining momentum, with Kenya planning to double its frequency to Port Bell in Uganda. The government is planning to introduce more trips to Uganda from Kisumu Port to service the lucrative DR Congo market. Kenya is banking on the revival of the Lake Victoria transport business to tap the Congolese market following improved bilateral relations between Kenya and Kinshasa.
Kenya's export to the Democratic Republic of Congo stands at an estimated 14 billion shillings, with Kenya exporting processed goods mainly in the eastern parts of the mineral-rich nation. This is despite Kenya handling only 15% of DRC's imports through the port of Mombasa. Nairobi is seeking to leverage on the expansion of the Kisumu port to increase its handling of DRC's imports, especially those destined for the eastern parts of the country. Currently, MV Uhuru 1 makes 2 voyages to Port Bell in Uganda weekly, transporting 1,760 tons of goods destined for the DRC and the Ugandan markets.
In a good week here, I mean that the product is available to ferry. Yes, we make 2 voyages in a week.
Kenya plans to add 2 additional trips weekly to Port Bell, with products worth 80 million shillings mainly destined for the DRC market.
I've said in the afternoon that our tariff is $20 per ton, and one voyage the ship takes around 880 tons.
Stakeholders estimate that the trip to DRC will be reduced to an average of 13 hours as opposed to a 4-day trip.
Now, in reference to MV Uhuru 1, which is taking only now on the distance part, which is taking around 182 nautical miles. 1 mile is almost 1.8 kilometers, so you can compute that. So 182 nautical miles between the port of Kisumu and the Port Bell in Uganda.
Mid last year, Kenya and the DRC signed an agreement that grants DRC privileges of using Kenyan ports to ease delays in clearing goods destined for DRC. Benson Rigoba for Prime Edition.
Now, Kenya is banking on the export market to spur the mango subsector that is facing a myriad of problems. The country is targeting the European and Asian markets that have a huge demand for the commodity. The Coast Development Authority Managing Director, Dr. Mohamed Kainan, has said the country is also investing in processing plants in high mango production areas.
Kenya is a major producer of mangoes in the world, ranking 4th in Africa and position 10 globally. It is estimated that Kenya produces almost 2% of mangoes produced in the world. Mango is the second highest exported fruit in Kenya, contributing to 11% of total fruit export, with a value of 15 billion Kenyan shillings, according to the Directorate of Horticulture Development. However, despite its huge potential, mango farmers in the country face major challenges due to pesticide, post-harvest losses, and lack of cold storage and processing facilities. To address these challenges, the government, through the Coastal Development Authority, is constructing various mango processing plants in high-producing counties, especially at the coast.
Mbeleni, hii biashara ilikuwa na uzito wake ilikuweko kuna brokers wanakuja kuingilia hii biashara wakitununulia kwa bei mbaya ambao kuwa kidogo haiende kumfaidi mkulima. But kupata kiwanda cha CDA hapa karibu kidogo kimeanza kuleta mabadiliko.
Last year, the country reached a deal with the European Union to start the export of the commodity to the bloc, almost 8 years since the country embarked on a self-imposed ban to deal with cases of fruit flies.
We realized that many of our mango farmers go through some processes of post-harvest losses. That's how we found that it's very necessary to put this manufacturing factory. We crush the mangoes into pulp, then sell the pulp to the ready market.
So far, CDA has commissioned a 190 million shillings mango processing plant in Tana River County with a capacity to crush 1.5 tons of mangoes per hour. Tana River produces 223,360,000 tons of mangoes annually. Reporting for Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
Now, across borders, Uganda's central bank has said the country's economy is on a strong rebound after the easing of COVID-19 restrictions that were closing out some sectors. Between the months of October 2021 and February 2022, high-frequency indicators showed that the country's economy was on a recovery trend. Here are the details of these and much more from across Africa.
Domestic demand is making a strong comeback as COVID-19 related restrictions have been eased in Uganda, adding to the gains of robust external demand. The real gross domestic product of Uganda is projected to grow by around 6% as domestic demand recovery broadens. Annual growth is likely to go above 7% in the medium term as government investment in infrastructure is expected to enhance productive capacity and coupled with increased social spending and recovery in tourism. Meanwhile, South Africa mining company Sibanye-Stillwater is set to meet unions this week over a looming strike at its gold operations in the country. The Commissions for Conciliations, Mediation and Arbitration, which has been mediating between the two sides, cleared the unions to give strike notice a month ago after declaring an impasse in wage talks. Even after the company tabled its final offer to increase underground workers' wages by 800 rands a month in each of the 3 years under negotiations, artisans and officials will get a 5% increase over the same period. The workers' union still rejected it. Currently, the mining industry employs more than 450,000 people and accounts for about 8% of the economy. Finally, commuters in Nigeria are feeling the squeeze as transportation prices are surging due to high vehicle maintenance costs and swelling fuel subsidies. The intra-city transport fares have surged by a staggering 283% in the last 4 years. The increase in fares has also fed through into the price of food as retailers are passing on costs to customers. The government has blamed the situation on the expense of subsidizing fuel, which it said has led to its inability to fund its road infrastructure.
Now, further afield, UK wage growth failed to keep up with the high cost of living between October and December. Official figures show that wages rose, but when taking inflation into account, pay recorded a 0.8% fall. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across the globe.
Despite the drop in wage growth, the UK economy continued to recover strongly, with unemployment falling to 4.1% and job vacancies hitting a fresh record high. Unemployment is now only fractionally above where it was before the pandemic. According to the ONS, employees' regular pay, excluding bonuses, grew by 3.7% between October and December, which is a high compared with rates seen over the last decade. However, the rising cost of food, energy and household goods have pushed inflation up by 5.4% in the 12 months to December. This means that real wage growth fell. The ONS said the labor market was tightening as employers continued to struggle to find the workers they need. The number of job vacancies between November and January hit a new record of 1.3 million, with most industries finding it harder to recruit. Meanwhile, Japan's economy rebounded in the final 3 months of 2021 as falling coronavirus cases helped prop up consumption through rising raw material costs, and a spike in new Omicron variant infections cloud the outlook. Some analysts expect the economy to contract again in the current quarter as rising COVID-19 cases and supply chain distribution eat factory output. The world's third largest economy expanded an annualized 5.4% in October-December after contracting a revised 2.7% in the previous quarter, falling short of a median market forecast for a 5.8% gain. The increase was driven largely by a 2.7% rise in private consumption, which accounts for more than half of Japan's gross domestic product. The expansion compared with market forecast for a 2.2% gain. Finally, an upgraded free trade agreement between China and New Zealand will be effective from April 7th, according to a statement released by the Chinese Ministry of Commerce on Tuesday. The announcement was made by both Chinese Ministers of Commerce Wang Wentao and his New Zealand counterpart Damien O'Connor in a video talk. The two sides agreed to take it as an opportunity to implement the upgraded protocol with high quality and further promote bilateral trade and investment. Regarding trade of goods, the upgraded FTA will see both countries open their markets for certain wood and paper products and optimize trade practices such as rules of origin, technical barriers to trade, and customs facilitations, according to MOFCOM.
Well, that is where we wrap up business news this evening, but don't go anywhere. Sports news is coming up with the lovely Karen Kibet. She is on standby there, smiling and waiting to give you the latest in sports. My name is Betty Kiptum. Do have yourself a lovely night. Bye-bye.
ya uongozi wa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali imetekeleza miradi kadhaa ya ujenzi wa nyumba za bei nafuu kwa manufaa ya Wakenya. Wiki hii kwenye Project 254.
I have said it before, but I'll say it again. Kenyans made it clear that they want to live in decent homes.
Rais Uhuru Kenyatta amejali mtu wa chini sana, kwa sababu nyumba kama hizi ukienda ununue hata uwanja yako uanze kujenga itakukosti hata sana.
Siku hizi tunakaa makao mazuri, tunakaa nyumba nzuri. Zamani hatukuwa na choo, tulikuwa na tupa, lakini siku hizi hatutupi.
Welcome back. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, the Africa Junior Tennis champion Angela Okutoi, who became the first girl in Kenya to win a junior Grand Slam match, has stepped up her training as she gears towards showing a stellar performance in the next Grand Slam tours. Okutoi targets to reach the quarterfinal stage in the next round of the tour, the French Open, which will be held in May.
After hitting headlines becoming the first Kenyan girl to win a junior Grand Slam match, 18-year-old Angela Okutoi sets her eyes to the Roland Garros set to be held in May. The sensational player has intensified her training and aims to reach at least the quarterfinals of the French Open. Okutoi participated in the 2022 Australian Open bracket.
Preparing to go to Egypt to play some futures 15Ks, and then after that I'll go to Marrakesh and Casablanca to play J1 and also a 15K in Marrakesh, and then I'll go and play AJC under 18 in Tunisia.
She defeated Italian qualifier Federica Ugese in 3 sets in the first round and continued her form against Australian qualifier Zara Lake in the second round, winning in 3 sets. She lost in a third-round match against Serbian player Lola Radivojevic 6-3, 6-2, but her performance made her the first Kenyan in the world to progress to the third round in a Grand Slam.
Well, I know now they will want to win me, so I have to be really prepared and mentally strong. Well, mentally now, I'm not thinking like I did great in Australia. I'm just putting my mind like I have not achieved anything, so I can do extra harder than what I've done, and I think I'm ready for the challenge.
Frederick Moki for Prime Edition.
Golf and country clubs Daniel Nduva narrowed Robson Chinhoi's lead by 3 shots going into Wednesday's final round of the Safari Tour 8th leg at the Par 71 Muthaiga Golf Club. Nduva, who joined the tour late as he was still busy in South Africa, carded a round of 5 under par 66 for a 3 rounds total of 10 under par 203.
Chinhoi started well with 3 birdies at the front 9, followed by 3 birdies and 5 dropped shots in the back 9 for 1 under par 70 and a total of 13 under par 200. Senior professional Dismas Indiza had a good day with 4 under par 67, which gave him a 3 rounds aggregate of 5 under par 208. Kenya amateur match play champion John Lejima fired 4 under par 67 to move to 4th place on 4 under par 209. It was a bad round for Malawi's Paul Chidale as he closed the day with a 3 back-to-back bogeys to eventually finish with 4 over par 75 to drop to joint 8th on 2 under par 211. After this leg, the 8 Kenyans who will have qualified for next month's Magical Kenya Open will be named.
PSG will host Real Madrid as the UEFA Champions League returns tonight with the first legs of the last 16 round. Manchester City will travel to Portugal to face Sporting Lisbon in other matches tonight.
The UEFA Champions
thrilling UEFA Champions League fixtures, but don't forget, Manchester United will also be playing Brighton tonight. Manchester United fans will definitely be looking forward to that match. I know Purity is a Manchester United fan. Purity?
Absolutely. And I see you're already in red, so I hope it's going to be red for Manchester tonight.
Yes.
And if you did not know, I'm also a fan, so I'll be rooting for the team.
Big team. How about you, Tom? Manchester.
No, me, you know, Kogalo, all the way, local. And by the way, I'm looking at this set and I'm thinking, look at that, look at that. Two-third gender.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. We've met that threshold.
We have.
All is well.
Good.
Are you safe in our hands?
No, I think. Yeah, you're harmless. You're good people.
All right. We have to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Prime Edition. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Francis Ngungi, you were tuned in from Gong Road. Ondara Kelvin from Mombasa County. We also heard from Mtwapa, Kilifi, Shaban Said, and Lawrence Kitema. You are also tuned in. Thank you so much.
I think the director wanted the banter to go on. but we have to leave. I guess we have to leave, isn't it?
Yes, we do.
All right, thank you. How does it feel? Day 2?
With us? Well, with you,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
I hope we made it fun.
Yes,
for you.
Okay, nice. There she is. Okay, we've got to go now. Thank you all for watching. On behalf of the dedicated KBC Prime Edition team, we want to thank you so much. We're going to do this. We'll do this again, over again, next week, Monday, Tuesday, from the capital city of Nairobi, Kenya. Good night. God bless.
Lensa Odingo has been our sign language interpreter tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not once, but twice. Jimmy Havoc. Oh, no.